So you've done the vision boards, you've scripted the affirmations, you've read all the books, you are acting as if. And yet, that huge, compelling goal you've been chasing feels, well, completely stuck.
Or maybe even impossibly distant.
Exactly. And if you find yourself wondering, is something wrong with me? Am I bad at this whole manifestation thing? Then this deep dive is definitely for you.
We really need to expose a truth here that a lot of traditional mindset advice just completely overlooks. The problem most of the time isn't your conscious effort. It's not your desire.
Right.
It's your body. It's running this silent, deeply ingrained background program we call survival mode that is quietly overriding all of your best efforts.
And that is such a powerful pivot because it takes the blame off of you and puts it onto the nervous system. Our mission today is to really get into this hidden connection. We're going to explain exactly why your body's survival instincts can override your biggest intentions. And more importantly, we're going to give you some simple body-based keys to finally help your system feel safe enough to grow.
Yeah, think of it this way. Your logical goal-setting mind is trying to run this really complex, future-focused piece of software, like a massive video editing program. But your body, because it perceives a threat, is simultaneously running like 50 urgent background antivirus scans. The computer isn't going to crash, but it's definitely not going to process that future-focused software effectively.
Okay, let's unpack this. Let's get into this conflict and the sheer absurdity of trying to manifest just through the mind. So traditional advice is so laser focused on the mental game, right? Think positive, feel abundant, visualize success. But what if you're already chronically overwhelmed before your feet even hit the floor in the morning?
Well, that's the thing. We're assuming manifestation is this top-down process mind tells the body what to do, when, for most people, the whole system is jammed from the bottom up.
In that jammed state, that's survival mode.
That is the core of it. We use that term to describe chronic nervous system dysregulation. And look, this usually doesn't mean a single big traumatic event. It often comes from long-term, low-grade stress.
Like what?
Relentless pressure from work, financial strain, maybe emotional isolation. Your body's threat detection system, the amygdala, just gets stuck on alert. You're perpetually ready for fight, flight, or freeze.
The really insidious thing is that this state starts to feel normal because it's just always there. It's not the huge panic attack we think of when we hear danger.
No, it's that low humming anxiety or the constant tension you hold in your shoulders.
Right. Or that nonstop background buzz of bills and demands. The body is basically perceiving all that chronic pressure as the same as a tiger being just outside the cave. It's still an emergency.
And that creates this profound biological barrier to achieving any goal that needs risk or creativity or, sustained effort. When your system prioritizes basic safety, the biological imperative, it literally impairs the prefrontal cortex.
Which is the part of the brain for what exactly?
Long-term planning, impulse control, creativity, future focus. Biology is basically saying if you're not safe, you don't need to plan a new business. You need to find resources right now. Short-term survival will always, always win.
So we end up sending these deeply mixed signals. Our conscious mind is writing the affirmation, I am ready for true intimacy and a new partner.
But your nervous system is screaming, absolutely not. Connection is dangerous. Stay small. We are not safe. And the body, like we said, is often the louder signal.
So that's what people mean when they say the body becomes the unconscious mind.
Precisely. If your physical form has been conditioned by years of bracing for stress or loss or rejection, it develops a kind of muscle memory for that reality. It instinctively tries to recreate what's familiar, even if what's familiar is stressful.
And that shows up as self-sabotage.
Chronic self-sabotage, procrastination, or that immediate feeling of dread when you try to make a big positive change. The dream itself turns into pressure because the body is interpreting this massive goal as a massive threat.
Okay, so if the body holds this much power, we have to learn to read its signals. Let's switch gears and talk about how to identify this silent program. But first, I think it's crucial to say, approach this with zero judgment.
Yes, this is a survival tool, not a character flaw.
If your nervous system is designed to protect you, then just identifying survival mode is the first step. We aren't judging the mechanism, we're just getting curious about the data it's giving us.
Exactly. So let's detail some of the subtle day-to-day signs. On the high alert fight or flight side, you'll recognize that constant keyed-up anxiety, the feeling that your foot is always hovering over the gas pedal.
But there's an opposite too, right?
Yes, and it's often harder to spot the freeze response. That looks like numbness, mental flatness, dissociation, or feeling like you just don't care about the very things you consciously want.
And what does that hypervigilance look like on, say, a Tuesday afternoon? Is it just high anxiety?
It's more insidious because it's internal. Hypervigilance is your mind just perpetually scanning the horizon for potential problems, playing out worst-case scenarios on a loop.
Over and over.
A difficult conversation, a looming deadline. If you are constantly anticipating disaster, you're in survival mode. You might also feel persistently disconnected from your body, just spaced out or going through the motions.
And that struggle to genuinely relax.
Yeah.
That's not just about ruining your evenings. That leads directly to decision fatigue, brain fog, and total burnout.
And crucially, it sabotages the very connections that could help you heal. When you're highly defensive or you struggle to trust people, you pull away and you block your ability to receive the support your nervous system is craving.
So awareness is the key. It creates space between the thing that happens and how you react to it.
It's everything. So let's talk about 2 simple awareness exercises you can start using immediately. The first is a daily check-in. Just pause a few times a day and ask yourself 2 things.
Okay.
First, am I reacting to what's happening right now, or am I reacting to something that just reminds me of the past? And second, check your physical state. What's my body doing? Is it tight, collapsed, or relatively relaxed?
I love that. And the second one, you call it naming the mode.
Yes. When that anxiety or that numbness hits, you just state internally with compassion, this is my survival brain talking, or my body doesn't feel safe right now.
That simple act of labeling it, saying this is happening to me instead of I am this, it creates distance.
Critical distance. It gives your thinking brain, that prefrontal cortex we mentioned, a chance to come back online and say, okay, noted, but there's no actual tiger here.
So we've identified the state, but now we face the real challenge. If the thinking brain is offline, we can't just think our way out of a body state. We have to stop trying to change the software and instead fix the wiring.
That distinction is so crucial. When your body senses danger, it does not care about your logic or your positive affirmations. The top-down approach is compromised. We need to use bottom-up tools, starting with physical action, to send a direct signal of safety to the brainstem.
And the fastest way to influence your physiological state is always the breath. Always. When we're stressed, our breathing gets fast and shallow. We can actually reverse engineer calm with a technique called the physiological sigh.
Yeah, this method has actually gotten a lot of validation from recent studies, like research out of Stanford. It shows its immediate effectiveness in calming the nervous system. Stress causes these tiny little air sacs in your lungs to collapse.
Right.
The physiological sigh is the body's natural way of reinflating them, which immediately stimulates the vagus nerve, the superhighway from your brain to your gut and heart, and it tells the whole system the threat is over.
So tell us the technique again so we can all try it right now.
It's so simple. A deep inhale through your nose, but when you think you've reached the top, you sneak in a second short sip of air.
A little double inhale.
Exactly, it reinflates those sacs. Then you let out a long, slow, extended exhale through your mouth, almost like you're sighing deeply. If you do that 3 to 5 times, you'll feel an immediate shift.
That is a phenomenal tool for that keyed up state.
Yeah.
But what about the listeners who are stuck in freeze or dissociation? That numb, zoned out feeling. They don't need to slow down, they need to, come back into the room.
Exactly. For that dissociated state, you need grounding. The goal is to bring your awareness out of the mental chaos and into verifiable present reality. The 5-4-3-2-1 method is perfect for this.
How does that work?
Wherever you are, you name 5 things you can see, 4 things you can physically feel, like the texture of your shirt, the pressure of the chair, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. It pulls your nervous system into the here and now.
Which is almost always safer than whatever memory or future fear it was stuck on.
Always.
Another really simple grounding practice is what we call the feet and seat. Survival mode makes us feel unsupported, like we're just floating in danger. So you just bring your attention to your physical connection to the environment. Focus intently on the feeling of your feet on the floor, your body in the chair. You can gently press your heels into the ground to feel that solid, supporting surface beneath you.
That physical proof of stability is an undeniable safety signal. And finally, we can't forget movement. Stress creates energy. It's energy that's designed to help you fight or flee. If that energy gets trapped, you feel keyed up.
Restless.
So restless. So gentle movement is essential for discharging it. If you feel that buzzing, just stand up and shake out your hands, your arms, your legs for a couple of minutes. That motion helps complete the stress response cycle.
These internal tools are so foundational. But we often overlook the most powerful regulator we have, which is actually external connection.
Absolutely. We are biologically wired for safety in numbers. Our nervous systems are constantly checking, am I safe here? And if we're alone, the answer is often no. Our systems are designed to sync up with and find calm from another person's regulated state.
That's co-regulation.
That's co-regulation. And for many people, especially those who feel isolated by stress, it is so much more powerful than trying to soothe yourself all alone.
Just think about the simple, everyday things that are actually biological signals of safety. A calm tone of voice, a genuine smile, a warm hug. These aren't just social nice-to-haves. They are chemical regulators.
And even micro moments matter hugely. Studies on human connection suggest that holding a hug for 20 seconds or more can support the sustained release of oxytocin.
The bonding hormone.
Exactly. It promotes trust, it reduces fear, and it actively tells your body, you are safe here, you belong. Sharing a real laugh or having soft, sustained eye contact with someone you trust sends that same chemical safety data straight to your brain.
And what if being around people feels unsafe right now? I think that's a real signal we need to honor.
Oh, absolutely. You can start co-regulation with pets or with nature or a spiritual practice. Stroking an animal, listening to the predictable, non-threatening rhythms of birdsong, or just sitting under a sturdy tree. These are powerful ways to calm your system down.
When your nervous system finally learns that it's safe to be connected, it becomes so much easier to trust, to receive, and to truly believe that the future you're visualizing is actually possible.
You're replacing the old programming of danger is everywhere with the new one, I am supported and safe.
And that's the critical pivot. Once the body is in this calmer, regulated place, that's when the top-down tools, the visualization, the affirmations, that's when they finally start to work.
Yeah.
But we have to adjust how we use them.
Yes. You can't just go back to trying to force positivity, trying to force a statement like, I am completely financially abundant, when your body is tense and your stomach is in knots about this month's rent. It feels like a kind of psychological gaslighting.
It creates a massive internal civil war. The fear feels invalidated, and the defense response just hardens its grip.
The regulating approach requires deep self-compassion. Instead of fighting the fear, you acknowledge it. You validate its protective instinct. You can blend the affirmation with a gentle releasing statement.
So something like, it makes sense that my body feels this scared right now. It was just trying to protect me.
I'm grateful for that protection, and I'm learning new ways to feel safe now as I create this new future. That validation allows the survival response to soften.
We can formalize this with something you call the regulate then imagine process.
Yes, this is the new way to use visualization. Step 1. Spend 2 to 5 minutes doing one of those body-based exercises. The physiological sigh, the shaking, the grounding. Get your body calm first.
Then, step 2. Bring your desire to mind for maybe 5 or 10 minutes. But don't just focus on the visual picture of the new job or the relationship. Focus intensely on the felt sense in your body.
What would your body feel like if you had that goal? Spacious, calm, expansive, proud? You're anchoring the vision in a physical sensation of safety and ease, which fundamentally rewires your internal state.
And finally, when you are regulated, your action steps need to shrink. Survival mode is terrified of massive all-or-nothing moves.
So we replace them with micro-aligned actions. You just ask yourself, what is one tiny 5-minute action that a slightly safer, more hopeful version of me would take today?
It could be sending one quick email,
or researching one tiny detail of a course, or just drinking a glass of water outside in the sun for 2 minutes. Each tiny action is a signal of safety, a vote for your new reality that your body can actually digest without triggering the panic alarm.
Before we wrap up, I think it's so important to acknowledge that if you feel like you're just perpetually stuck in this state, that anxiety is always humming. You might be linked to unresolved trauma or complex PTSD or a clinical anxiety disorder.
Absolutely. This is powerful territory.
Yeah.
If you are experiencing persistent panic attacks, severe dissociation-like gaps in memory, or constantly feeling unreal, or if your state is making it impossible to function day to day, please know that professional support isn't a sign of failure. It's a sign of courage.
And in that context, maybe look into body-based therapies. Things like EMDRI, movement desensitization and reprocessing. It has a very strong evidence base for treating PTSD by directly reprocessing stressful memories.
Or other approaches like somatic experiencing, which are highly effective in helping the body gently release trapped survival energy. They work directly with the nervous system.
So the core message to take away from all this is simple. Your body was never working against you. It was just trying to protect you based on old, outdated information about the world being unsafe.
The problem was never that you were bad at manifesting. The problem was that you were trying to build a new life from a system that didn't feel safe enough to expand.
When you start fighting your nervous system and start gently working with it, giving it those bottom-up signals of safety, first manifestation shifts from feeling like a battle to feeling like a natural expansion of who you already are.
If you take one thing away, let it be this. Stop trying to force your dreams into existence and start gently teaching your body that it is safe. Safe to relax, safe to receive, and safe to create something new.
The moment your nervous system stops living in survival, you stop looking for things to survive and can start creating a life you truly want to live. So take a moment to reflect on this and consider which of those bottom-up techniques, the sigh, the grounding, the shaking, you can integrate into your day-to-day. This knowledge is now yours to explore.